So there's this group of guys who like hate women and they're incels, but they're black. So I call them NIGCELS.
God bless them. But anybody else want to add to it before I start playing some of the clips?
Well, let me ask Ken a question. What do you think of stop and frisk?
Depends on if it's a high crime area, then I can understand it. But as somebody who does not live in the hood, okay. I was never around getting heavily checked every other day, so I can't really say if it's But I will say in a heavily crimed area, I will say you have to put it in.
Okay, so stop and frisk, people say it violates their civil rights, correct?
Yeah, that's what people say.
What do you think of the crime bill? The 90, what year? 95 crime bill? 94. What do you think of the crime bill?
Good and bad. I mean,
let's talk about the bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, drugs is a very, very complicated issue. Like, because I feel like I don't really think people should go to prison for the rest of their lives over selling drugs.
Okay. So, had these individuals, because what are they doing? They're giving you like 5 times the amount for rock as they would powder or something like that. I think it's 5 to 10 times. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's because of the violence that was involved.
Thank you. So think about how what these people did affected everybody else.
I agree.
How many people got locked up because of these murders? How many dudes who literally just were in the game to try to make money said, I'm going to get in this game. But because you had so much violence, somebody who just got in the game to make a little bit of money ended up getting 10 times the amount of sentencing. Some innocent person might have been falsely accused through stop and frisk. They single-handedly destroyed everything. So I have no sympathy at all.
When do we start blaming society or
never? That's what I'm talking about. The system, right?
Wait.
The system, right?
What about how these drugs even came into these neighborhoods?
That's irrelevant. This is what I'm talking about.
That's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
How?
It's irrelevant because powder is powder. Powder doesn't make you go pick up a gun and shoot somebody. You chose to do that.
No, we're not talking about murder. Murder, we understand. We're not, bro. Majority of prison is not murder. The
reason why those sentences got dished out for that was you just said it. It was the violence behind it.
Yeah, but doesn't mean everybody that went to prison for drugs committed violence.
Exactly, but the people that committed violence got them all locked up for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Sure. So you can think, okay, so that's what I'm saying. But all of this, it's the community, and it's the we don't own no planes, we don't make no guns. That bullshit has got to stop. That's the problem.
How did these drugs get in these communities?
Man, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. Them airplanes ain't killing 50 people. Them airplanes ain't kidnapping people. No, you hold on. Them airplanes ain't kidnapping 50 people in Harlem. Them airplanes ain't throwing people out of the window in Detroit. Them airplanes ain't committing 300 murders a year. It's irrelevant. Save your boys in the hood argument, your Lawrence Fishburne boys in the hood argument for somebody else, man. It's irrelevant.
Okay.
But hold on. Let me actually answer his question because it's quite a simple answer. How did they get into the neighborhoods? Some individuals who are living in those neighborhoods, they met up with the connect, whether it be the government, a government agent, actually what do you mean not true?
How did crack specifically get in black communities?
Sorry, what did you say?
How did crack specifically get into black communities?
Crack?
It walked itself in.
No,
come on, man. It walked itself in.
Some guy in the hood, he made it by accident, and then
That is just not true.
Oh well, according to a TV show, that it's not that way.
I mean, it was done because of
actually,
in
it doesn't matter how it got there.
It does because
hold on. Let Kendricks finish.
Hold up, bro.
Kentra?
I have that answer. I'll tell you.
Okay.
You're asking where crack cocaine came from?
Yeah, where did crack come from?
It came from the University of California, USCA. You can look that up.
No, it came.
Wait, hold on. 1 second, Black. I do want to move you down for a second. I do want the conversation to start with men because I think this is mostly a man issue. This is not to eliminate, and then we'll bring everybody else up after, right? Because I do think this is a situation where men need to hold other men accountable and talk about it. But I'm not excluding everybody. But we will bring everybody else up after. But go ahead, Fashions.
No, this is.
Yeah,
This
bro.
it came.
So can I finish what I was
The
saying?
invention of crack cocaine originally came from the University of California, USCA. Basically a government project. They've talked about this before. Fucking Rick Ross said it. Like it was invented on a college campus. At first it was called Ready Rock. Like that's originally what the name was for. So it was originally orchestrated, but you had niggas like Rick Ross who started selling cocaine, and then niggas started finding out how to break it down, make it cheaper, and yeah, that's kind of what happened.
All right, so we want to go to Jason, then Kenny. You can finish your point. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So like, even through like government like getting involved with like allowing people to bring all these drugs into the country, no one really forced these guys to get other people in their neighborhoods involved in the activity of putting all the drugs throughout all these areas, trying to claim territories to sell these drugs, putting guns into the hands of like young kids and themselves and their friends, to say if anybody comes on this turf to try and take your spot, put them down. I mean, you can say that the government played a part in it. They definitely did. No one is gonna deny that, but I'm not gonna say that like the people who were involved in doing all that stuff, they didn't have any agency. They didn't know anything that they were doing was right or wrong during the time while they were selling these drugs. No, most of them during the time they were living in like poor environment. They had they were in poverty, and these guys were just trying to get money so they could take care of their families and they could be fresh. So I'm not gonna just say that it was I'm not gonna say that like they didn't have like their reasons for doing it, whether it be valid or not, whether you agree or disagree. I'm just saying that throughout the whole situation where all this was occurring, the black people who were in these neighborhoods engaging in these activities, they all had a choice and they were all aware of what they were doing. They saw bodies were dropping. They didn't care because they wanted to get the money.
Yeah, it was somewhat of a choice, but it's just like in the 1960s.
Somewhat.
Yeah, it's just like the 1960s when the welfare came in place. A lot of poverty rate was very high for black families, so that's why it affected them the most because it was free money and they were at the time had a high poverty rate. And you
wrong.
Hold on.
So this is about morals.
I'm just trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain how we can't necessarily just.
We can't put responsibility on people.
I'm saying we just can't necessarily just tell these people like fuck you. Like we just can't do that.
We're not telling them fuck you.
Let me just say that. Let me finish though. Let me just finish.
Well, then if that's the case, hey, hold on a second. If that's the case, we can't tell the people who brought it in or who drove the planes fuck you either, right?
Well, all right. Let me just explain this because as this was happening, I think the biggest places happened in was in LA's quote unquote South Central. It was really really poor, had racial tension, had race riots, and when the gangs first started, it was for neighborhood protection, et cetera, then blah, blah. First, it was to protect the neighborhood. That was what it was all about. Then, when crack came, and as Jason said, the government played a part in it. We're not going to sit here and act like it was highly addictive. All right? It was very highly addictive, and it was a good way to make money. Like,
so first off, hold on a second. First off, like I said, this is the Snowfall, Lawrence Fishburne. None of this stuff is original. So,
but it's still real.
No. You're wrong. So first off, everybody listen to what he said. First, he said welfare. You're wrong, right? So you are wrong when it came to that because most of the black community at that point in time was a lot of two-parent households.
It was still in poverty.
No, stop. Because first off, two-parent households were everywhere. Black people were the standard of morality back in those days.
Go
before
show.
welfare.
Hey,
So
go
it
PTR
wasn't this
poverty
high.
rates in
It
the
wasn't this,
1960s.
bro. It wasn't this high poverty rate. And then you
Go
said,
look it up.
well,
Everybody, right now, go look up the
well,
poverty rate for black people in the
and then
1960s.
you're gonna say, oh, we was doing it to protect the neighborhood.
I said not we.
What?
Not we. I said that's what gangs were first were part of.
Okay.
That's what gangs were first doing, was protecting their neighborhood.
Okay.
This is common knowledge.
Okay, and cocaine was used in Coca-Cola. It's not relevant, right? Like like your arguments are just not relevant. Like I can,
but
say,
they're relevant because these people. It's not like they went out.
The original purpose of original purpose of a rifle was to hunt. Like it's irrelevant. If that
let me tell you something,
what you're doing is you're eliminating responsibility for people's actions. It's the same thing with guns. Okay, you're telling me the purpose and the transport basically holds everybody else not accountable for their actions. Your arguments are how did it get here and what was this purpose, right?
Exactly, and that is the main important part.
So if I look at guns, right? How did guns get here? How did your TV get here? How did your automobile get here?
That's a
right?
false equivalency, brother.
No. But you've made them all night.
It's not the same. It cannot be the same thing.
Your goal.
There's so many different elements.
Hold on.
This is how you get crime this high because of people like.
All right, hold on. Let me step in. Let me step in really quick, right? So, this is supposed to be heated, and I'm glad Kentrell is giving some pushback, right? Because we don't want to have an echo chamber because we really do want to fix this. I would say this though, Kentrell. Even if all the things you're saying is true, I still think that they took advantage of communities with low morals more than least amount of money, right? Because when you look at other communities like the Asian community and or the Italian community, those people had the same gangs and they were running drugs. But the difference in those communities, they at least knew that this is bad and they did not sell in their own community.
This is not true.
At least
this is not true.
Well, okay. Well, hold on.
LA, there's so many poor Asian communities, man. This is not true.
Yes, absolutely. But the majority of major gangs, right? At least in that same time period, those people, right? It was known. Like if you're in the mob and you got caught selling drugs to your own people, you were killed.
Yeah, this
right?
is 60, 70 years ago. We're talking about...
No. It was not.
And so were those
Hold on.
Hold on.
This is not 60, 70 years ago. And I'm not saying that it's not the same now because I feel like all criminal organizations have become more vile. But in this same time period, the 80s, the 70s, Asian gangs at least knew that this was a bad thing to sell to our community. They would sell it to us and not sell it to themselves, right? So there is a lack of morality that we had in our community, even if it was pushed upon us, that allowed us to do that to ourselves, and the other ones didn't. But I do
white people have morality? Because they use it just as much as black
morality?
People. Yeah. They use it just as much as black people.
Hold on. I hear your point on that, but even white biker gangs. Right,
bro. What? Please don't sit here.
Well, why don't you look up?
Hold on.
You made an argument. You made an argument earlier about crime. He made an argument. So since you want to make it a racial thing, right? Well,
that's what he said. He brought it up.
No. You said white morality.
Yeah, but he brought up Asian. He said we don't have.
So I did.
Hold on. Please, hold on 1 second. Listen. I don't want the conversation to go like this. Listen. I know we're disagreeing here, but please, guys, let's keep the flow going. So let's let each other finish. Even if we disagree, just wait till we're finished our thoughts, and then we're gonna you can respond because this jumping back, yelling is not going anywhere. So let's just slow it down. Let's bring it back. So what was the last question that's asked? We'll address that.
Kendrick made a point. Kentrell made a point. Do white people have morality? Right. And he also brought up poverty. Now, I would direct him to the statistics on race and poverty, right? Because even when black people make more money, they still commit crimes at a higher rate. And even when other groups of people are as impoverished, you don't see crimes at that high of a rate. So, for example, if you look at certain cities in Appalachia, right? There are no Baltimore 300 murders a year in places in Appalachia. where they are impoverished and also white. So, like, your whole argument about, well, it's poverty, is the system. Like, what you're doing is this. If you're telling me that these people who you are now caping for are incapable of their own actions, then they do deserve to be oppressed by the system. If you're telling me you don't have the ability to control yourself and you're not smart enough to live your own life without a quote-unquote system guiding you, there's nothing you can do to correct it, and you really are as stupid as some people would say that you are.